Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. Today we're going to be discussing OCD recovery and I'm going to be answering some questions. So let's get started. By the way, if you would like me to reply to your question, please leave it below this video or any of the other videos and I will reply on the next show. So the first question has to do with rituals, and the person is saying that they had times where they didn't have OCD at all, and then the thought comes back with, well, if you had to do ritual before, then why aren't you doing it now? And then the person starts to worry about it and the OCD cycle starts again. So the thing is with this, my question to you is, why are you listening to what OCD is telling you? Yes, it can tell you this and can tell you a million other things. The point is not to listen. Let it talk, let it say whatever it wants to say, but don't listen, don't analyze, don't do anything to keep the OCD going. Just view it as an irrelevant thought and that's it. You know, the more you do this, you will see that the thoughts will not have power and they'll move on. Next question is, sometimes during the recovery process, I get thoughts, what if the process does not work because I can't get the results I want? How can I know this really works and OCD is not a life sentence? So with that, you want to be very careful in that type of thinking because OCD attaches what you care about the most. So as you're starting to do the recovery, you start to care about the recovery the most, and that can become an obsession in itself. In terms of trying to research it, am I doing the right thing or not, splitting hairs, really trying to figure things out. You don't want to do that, you know. So as much as OCD tries to bring on these thoughts, you have to view it as just another OCD thought. It's irrelevant, doesn't make a difference, you're not reacting to it. And the more you do it, you will see the better you will feel. Next question is, hi Ali, does urges to do things you don't want to do, are they a part of OCD? I have urges to do things I don't want to do, and at the moment these are really strong with high anxiety. After this, I obsess about the urge. Did it happen or not? But it's like, I really don't know if it did. And then, but see, with this, you're analyzing. You know, the more you analyze it, yes, OCD controls your feelings. So it controls urges, bodily functions of all kinds, you know, all of that is normal part of OCD. You know, it just depends on the kind of theme you have that, you know, what will get triggered, you know, but it's a reaction. The problem here is reaction, analyzing, trying to go over it. All of that has to stop. For you to recover, you cannot continue like this. So as much as possible, trying to refuse, trying to move on from it, you will see that you start to get better as you're doing that. But it's just pushing through and choosing not to do it anymore. So next question is, what is the difference between HOCD and homophobia? Please explain. The difference is that they're two separate things entirely. So if you have HOCD, it doesn't have anything to do with homophobia. You know, you can have HOCD for a variety of reasons, but at its core is your fear of being gay. And however it comes up, for whatever reason it come up, this is my theme, I'm choosing not to react. You know, this is completely different from homophobia. It's HOCD. It's OCD-based theme. It happens to be about this topic. Could have been about any other topic. What you have to do is disregard, move on. Choose to move on from a position of power, not from a position of fear. Not giving it energy, not analyzing, not doing any of those things. Just choosing to move on, and that's it. Next question is, have you got any accounts of OCD affecting how people write? If you need to check your writing about 100 times before sending it to someone, does this sound like OCD or is this just an ordinary anxiety? So with that, I mean, yes, it is a common OCD. It's also common for people who don't have OCD to react with a little bit of what did I write, what did I say, but it's the checking. You know, it's kind of like with checking types of OCD, say checking the oven, right? People kind of always like, did I turn the oven off or not? Like, that's a normal thought that people who don't have OCD also have and also can obsess for a few seconds. But it's different. A person who doesn't have OCD will only take a few seconds, maybe a minute or two. But a person who does have OCD will obsess and over check. So it's exposure is the thought. With any PRO, the exposure is the thought that comes into your mind. The reaction is, you know, refusing to give it any energy, refusing to take it seriously, And then when you do a reaction, right, when you do the wrong thing, that's checking, analyzing, going over it, getting reassurance. Those are all the wrong things to do. So in this case, checking 100 times, no, you shouldn't check 100 times. You should maybe check one time and that's it, because that's average standard behavior. You're not doing anything over the top. Yes, your anxiety will be up because you're not doing anything to decrease the anxiety, but that's fine. Just let the anxiety keep going in your mind, but it's going parallel to you. So the anxiety is over here, you're over here. Not over here, you're over here. Your entire energy, your entire attention is over here, and you're consciously keeping it over here because here is where it needs to be. It's a choice. It's a choice made from a position of power, not from a position of fear. Fear can be over here. It's still here. It's not going anywhere because it's coming on autopilot at this point. That's fine, but you're not doing anything to keep it going. It's very important. And you will see that you will do it once with barely any checking, twice, and after 10-15 times of this repetition, it's not going to be an issue anymore. So next question is, hi Ali, can you answer how OCD can attach to real memories and make them seem worse? And then how to also ignore these. So how it attaches to real memories. For example, a person is driving. I always like to give as an example driving OCD, because driving OCD is kind of one of the more simplistic OCD types to understand for pretty much anybody. So, and it's hard to understand, on the specific theme like that you're worried about. It's always better to understand on another type of theme, because it just shows, oh, okay, from a third person perspective, or your own theme you can't understand. So that's why I always, in my videos use the driving as an example, unless the person's actually asking about driving, then I use another one. But so say for example, a person is driving. Actually, they are driving, and as they drive, they hear somebody scream on the street, right? For whatever reason, right? And then later on, they think, well, I did hear somebody scream, and what if it was because I, ran over them or something like that? Let me try to go back and analyze. You know what I mean? So what it's doing is it's taking a real memory of, the person was driving, somebody screamed, who cares? And attaching OCD meaning to it. Well, it must have been because I drove over them. And then from there, what the person does is goes over and over and over again over the situation, trying to figure it out, maybe looking up in the news, maybe looking up in the, on the internet, trying to see, if there's any validity. And because they're doing it from a position of fear, the anxiety grows, and the more the anxiety grows, the worse the person feels. So that's just how basic Puro type of thing works, especially the false memory OCD type. And actually, by the way, if anybody has not seen my previous video, we're doing a poll, survey on my website, youhaveocd.com, and there's a lot of questions on there. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a lot of the times people ask me, well, what does, majority of your clients do? How do they feel? All of these kinds of questions, basically asking for survey poll type of answers. And instead of, me always telling you guys, well, my client's this and my client's that, and you guys have to take my word for it. This way you can see that people are filling it out. You can see each day the numbers are growing, and we can see the answers. Also, if you would like to ask any specific questions in the survey that I have not asked, because, I can't think of every possible question, and, the more questions we address regarding OCD, the more information we have. So it's completely anonymous. You can't, there's no way to track anybody or anything like that. Nobody knows who's who with that. So it's completely safe. I would really appreciate if you fill it out, if you share the information that there is a survey. Please fill it out on groups, forums that related to OCD, so we can get as much of a volume of people as possible. And again, if you have a question you would like answered on the survey, please leave it below this video. Just say it's for the survey, and as long as it's a good question, not something silly, but a good question, we will add it to the survey as well. And if you go on youhaveocd.com and go under research, you will see the answers as well. You just have to reply to the survey to see the answers, but you will be able to see the answers and make your own conclusions. And the topics I go over in the survey are things like lifestyle, types of OCD thoughts that people experience, how severe their OCD thoughts are, how is the medication working for them, how is their doctor working for them. So we're getting an overview of any similarities that OCD sufferers have to try to draw conclusions from it. And like I said, everything is available. You know, there's everything that you're seeing on the front end of the website is the same thing I'm seeing on the back end of the website. So, you know, there's nothing hidden. It is what it is. It's done specifically for people to create more awareness of what OCD is. It's not only about cleaning. It can be, but most of the time it's not. As you can see, you know, in the poll, one of the questions was, what type of OCD what's your OCD theme? And I think last time I looked at it, it was about 40% of people said false memory OCD. So, you know, it's important for us to know that, you know, so we're, you know, for people who are suffering, right, so they feel more comfortable. For me, it's very important to know that, so I know what kind of videos I should create more of and what information is more needed, as well as how to help my clients better by getting more information on the ins and outs of the disorder as well. So, you know, it helps everybody across the board. So please, if you can participate, if you can spread awareness, please do it. I would really, really appreciate it. So anyways, let's get back to the questions. So with the questions about false memory, the person's asking, how do you ignore these? You just ignore. You know, there's no easy way. It's just pushing through, choosing to disregard, and going forward. So again, thoughts are over here, you're over here like a tank, pushing through. Doesn't matter what OCD is telling you. It just doesn't matter. Let it be over here. Let it have some space in your mind, but you're pushing through over here. You're not paying attention. You're not doing nothing. Let it be there. You're here. Your full attention is on what you're doing today. And nothing else matters, you know, and just pushing through like that to the best of your ability. And if you fail, sometimes you fail, sometimes, but if you're taking 4, 5, 6 steps forward and taking a step back, then that's just one step back. It doesn't matter that much in terms of progress, you know. So next question is, hi Ali, I have pure OCD and I watch some of your videos and I try not to give that much attention to the thoughts, and I'm able to be happy even if they're there. Perfect. So they're there over here, you're happy over here, so it's perfect. But I feel like this isn't right and I should be worried and I should feel ashamed of them, otherwise I am just numb. So okay, so what you're experiencing is you're feeling like you're faking it, that you're not being authentic, and that's completely normal when you're going through recovery. It's good that this question actually came up right after the false memory OCD question, because it kind of continues this theme. Is this will feel like this, and you will feel like you're faking it, and you kind of are faking it in terms of that, you know, you're not fully fine, the mind is worried, but you need to send the signal that even though your mind is worried, there's actually no valid reason for worry, and the only way to do this is to fake it till you make it, you know. It's just pushing through and pretending like everything is normal, doing everyday activities, not giving OCD an inch in any way, you know, not altering how you look, like, oh, I don't feel like, you know, doing this and that because I don't feel good, not, you know, canceling plans, you know, not staying in the house, not doing anything to portray an image of somebody who's not feeling well. You know, you need to portray an image that everything is fine to your mind, no negative thinking. Even if your negative thinking doesn't have specifically anything to do with OCD, but more along the lines of, oh, I'll never recover, or I feel so bad, or anything like that, it's still negative signal being sent to your mind. You need to refuse to do that. So, and you see, like even from the questions, a lot of people are asking about false memory OCD. I'm not saying that this is the most important type of OCD. There's all different types of themes, but it's one of the most, and you know, with false memory OCD, it affects a lot of different types of themes. You know, it's not only, say, harm OCD. And harm OCD, false memory is probably more common than in other ones, but you know, if you take religious OCD, I feel like I prayed the wrong way. What if I said something, you know, like going into that theme, you know, or you know, like relationship OCD, you know, I mean, it can be any type of OCD. What if I've done something, you know, with another person, you know, I mean, it can infect you on every level, so to speak. I don't know if infect is the right term, or affect is, I think, what I meant to say, but it kind of is both, right? So next question is, can you give us a timeline of recovery? I've been trying not to give the intrusive thoughts power, great, but they keep coming back and making me more and more anxious. Does it get worse before it gets better? Yes. Okay, so with the timeline of recovery, the first step in recovery is refusing to pay attention to the thoughts. As you do this, your brain will become on fire. It will start to send you more and more thoughts to get you back into reaction. That's normal. There's nothing going on with that. It's part of the recovery process. But what you will see is that even though you're getting more thoughts, the anxiety level is actually diminishing. So you're getting more thoughts, but they don't have staying power and they're leaving quite quickly. So there's a big turnaround throughout the day. And then because your mind will eventually start running out of material, to, spike the anxiety, the thoughts kind of get sillier and sillier as you have more and more of them. So you can start seeing that pattern, and then it reduces realism, so to speak. So that's kind of how it goes. So in that way, yeah, it does get worse before it gets better. But again, it's, don't worry about what the mind is doing, what it's saying to you, how many times it's saying to you. Every time it has to do with your theme, I don't care if it's 100 times a day. Every time it has to do with your theme, you're disregarding and you're powering through. No matter what it says, powering through all the time. So next question is, can OCD cause distortions with real memories? Yeah, that's what I was just saying about the false memory OCD, that's what it does. It causes distortions. Yeah, so it corresponds with your obsession. Yes, so it will take an innocent situation and turn it into something that has to do with what you're scared of, like basically your worst case scenario. So also, if you are, like people are asking about Facebook and Facebook triggering you. So, whatever your OCD wants you to do the opposite of that. So your OCD tells you, well, why don't you check this on Facebook? Why don't you check that on Facebook? Just check, refusing to do it. Now, in terms of avoiding, social media sites completely, I wouldn't do that, because the more you do that, the worse your OCD will get, because it's like avoidance, the scarier it will be, because you will be faced with it at some point anyway, just because social media is so entangled in our lives. It's, you don't want to avoid anything for the fear, Next question is, does medication help with recovery? And again, this is where I go back to the survey. This is one of the big reasons I did the survey, is I broke down the medication into 6 parts. Antidepressants and antipsychotics, and the questions go as follows. If you are, I don't remember like verbatim, but something very similar to, if you are on a low dose of antidepressants, what do you feel like it's doing to your OCD? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it staying the same? Is it helping or is it not helping? If you're on a medium, a standard dose of antidepressants, is it helping? If you're on a high dose of it, so we get an overview for each person who's filling it out. If say they are on a high dose of antidepressants or a high dose of antipsychotics, is it helping or is it doing nothing? And I mean, right now it's kind of new, because I've just started the survey a few days ago, so there's not that many replies, and that's why I'm asking you guys for your help, so we can get the awareness out and get as much people as possible to fill it out, so we can see results of thousands of people filling it out, and really get the accurate responses, So, but so far people are saying, you can see it on the website what today's percentages are, but you can see that most people are saying that it's not making much difference. But yeah, please check it out. And I think So, and also people were asking about self-medicating. Yeah, you don't want to self-medicate. Under no circumstances, using things such as alcohol, all kinds of things to numb the pain. You have to push through and do the work. That is the only way you will recover. Not doing anything else, just pushing through and doing the work. Nothing else will work for you. It's just you doing what you need to do to recover, what we discuss on every single show, and I'm here for you, like if you would like to do the recovery program, of course it's better because then I'm there with you on text, on Skype, whenever you need, right? But, if you're just watching the show and going through the show, then you have to be your coach, so not allowing yourself to slip and to analyze, check, get reassurance, all of that is off limits. Pushing through, not reacting like a tank, just going full attention over here. Who cares what your OCD tells you? Your attention is over here. You do this, you'll recover. So that's all the questions I have for today. Again, please check out the website, check out the survey. I would really, really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.